Hello and welcome to Evolve Yourself podcast. I'm Lahaina, I'm a confidence coach, and I'll be your host. This is a space for thought-provoking conversation in a variety of topics from healing and coaching modalities, spirituality and health hacks, and entrepreneurial tips. This is a place for inspiration, sharing, learning, questioning, and exploring to lead you to your next breakthrough and the path to evolve yourself. Today, we're going to be doing interviews. I'm so excited. I have Erena here. Am I saying it correctly?
Erena.
You can correct me, Erena. She's a multi-business owner of Ablum Care Services, is an NDIS company, and Soulful Health with Erena. She's a mystic mom and Maori. She overcame childhood trauma, misdiagnosis with bipolar disorder, and domestic family violence abuse background. An industry leader, trauma informed, high level transformational coach, speaker, and holistic creative therapist. She's an intuitive meditation teacher, energetics, extraordinary, and sound healer, specialized in crystal sound bowls. Oh my God, I feel like you have lived 1,000 lives already.
Yes, I have in all different forms.
I love that. That's so beautiful. Like so many experiences and life qualities and
Mm.
skills.
I was just actually rereading one of my quotes that I put up the other day, and I was like, my experiences and my ability to share them are the perfect certifications.
I do feel our generation and the new ones to come, we're not so caught up in I have the one job, the one profession, maybe our parents or before them it was you have that one job for 20 years, you have that one solid career path. And I know for myself, like I'm a coach, photographer, I've had work in corporate, I have, yeah, different modalities and qualifications similar to you. And I think we're just following our passion. Is that how you feel?
Yeah, I actually grew up in a household of entrepreneurs.
Oh, I love that.
So
I don't feel like I had that in my family, but yeah, I love that for you.
it kind of fell into my bloodstream without me realizing. I definitely agree that you need to follow your passion, and finding that out has taken such a long time, like fully just exploring different career options to land so perfectly in what I'm doing right now. Like I have so much certainty in being able to lead my NDIS company, and also to lead more women in business to truly come back into their heart, into their soul wisdom, that, yeah, everything feels a lot more in flow and less like hard work and challenge and trying to fit in and tick all the boxes that I just didn't. It didn't really resonate. I've never been one to really tick the boxes and be like, okay, this is it.
And yeah, because I love talking about confidence, that's my jam. I feel like it takes courage and confidence to, tap into all these different things because again, your mind will tell you, no, do the safe job, don't change, don't go get another qualification, don't change careers, you're too old, you don't have experience, you don't have testimony. So I really acknowledge you. And again, our generation that have been so into exploring avenues that, to take different steps and just trust your gut. Like I follow my intuition a lot. Do you feel the same? Like you just trust yourself and what's next?
Yes, I'm on the right podcast.
Yeah.
So, the whole reason that I came into business was because of intuition. Like just following the little voice, the inner voice that was just like, hey, you're here for something more. This isn't going to be your path, and walk with me, follow me, and I will show you the way. And I feel like the shivers down my back now because I know that resonates with you too. And sometimes it just asks you to leap and to jump, and you don't know. And you're just like, okay, now I've got this decision point. Am I going to follow, or am I going to wait and see if there's more signs?
Yes, exactly. And it's like jumping. from the precipice, and not knowing can I fly, but just trusting, yeah, this is the right thing. This is the thing to do right now. So I feel exactly the same way. And again, that's why I think it takes courage to go forth, even, without the safety net. And tell me, if your intuition had a personality, what would
Oh.
it be? Like playful, serious, adventurous?
I'd like to say gentle, but it's not. It's more like provocative, disruptor.
Yes, I love those
The,
two
why
words.
is this happening, guys?
Oh my God. Yes, provocative. And what was the second?
Disruptor.
Disruptive. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yum. Maybe we can name, yeah, our intuition. That would be fun to have that, literally that persona, next to you. Because I also teach my clients to name their inner mean girl. So it could be, like negative Nancy or whatever. So we could name our intuition as well.
Yeah, I think that's interesting actually, because I feel like it evolves. Like I remember when I first started to tap into, getting guidance and really like intentional about receiving information from different energetic things and things like that. Like I would always hear these lovely stories about fairies and like bringing them little gifts. And my ones came with thunderbolts. They were like lightning bolts, thunder, like smoke, like, hey, what are you doing with your life? And I was like, oh, okay. I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna listen.
Yeah. So yours is very penetrative energy. I think I was thinking about mine, like I haven't thought about this before, but I feel like mine is very grounded and just like, yeah, I feel it usually in my like solar plexus. And I
Oh,
just know. And I just have this knowing, like when I wanted to move from Sydney to Gold Coast, it was just like, I know that when I move everything in one fold and, it's going to be amazing. So yeah, I was just moving through that initial process of actually taking action and changing my life.
yeah,
So
that's cool.
you've been mentoring women for over 5 years now. I would love to hear from you. What do you feel is the most common self-worth struggle that you might see in your clients or in female leaders, and how do you help them?
I think the number one thing that I find with women that come into my space is they've forgotten their power and their gifts. Like the unique frequency that they have, and they've been spending too long trying to compare themselves and also follow cookie cutter templates on how to express themselves and their message online and for their business. So
Tell me more.
just a small thing, just tiny. Um, but I think coming back into their heart and actually slowing down so that they can sense not only their intellect, but also like what is it that makes them feel as though they are enlivened by being in that moment. Mm.
Yes, I agree. I feel like, yeah, we live in a, patriarchal society, not wanting to put names to names, but it is. And again, it's just like everyone is so encouraged to be constantly producing results, and for women is, yeah, like evolving in the career path, um, being good at everything. I know for myself, I think other women as well, like I want to look beautiful, I want to be career driven, ambitious. I want to be an amazing wife. And, we're pulled into all these directions and we have really high expectations on ourselves. And like you said, that starts to sever the heart connection and the intuition connection. And yeah, we work hard to show up in the world and, like the external stuff to show up and present and achieve results when yeah, literally being a woman is the softness and the chaos and the heart and the womb experience and like smelling the flowers. I love walking down the streets and just smell the flowers. I'm like, feel connected to everything.
It's so beautiful. And I think as well, like when women come in, they don't really know what they want.
Yeah.
They've been looking, and what you were saying about they're looking at all of these other structures, all of these business, organizations and their models of their success. And they're wondering, oh, this is how they do it. I need to do it the same. And it's often not the case. Like if you're really wanting to create, what majority of women in business come in for, like a higher value is freedom. What
Mm,
does that actually mean for you?
yes. I love that question because exactly when I feel women coming to me to find out about my coaching programs, they're like, I want financial freedom, I want freedom, I want, and I was like, okay, let's just unpack, right? Exactly what you said, because for everyone, there will be a different flavor or visual, or what does that mean in reality? So, what would you say if someone is on the start of their soulful journey or maybe soulful health journey? I know that's your jam. What would you say some first steps that they could take?
Some of the first steps is probably to join like a community. Join a community group. That's how I really started to get familiar with, intuition and normalizing that that is okay. That just exploring and testing and searching is actually okay, and it's very, very normal to do so. And when you're around people that are at all different levels on their journey, it's really helpful to just be like, oh, I can kind of gather up a little bit of information from people that have been there before and also be okay with where I am. So that's probably one of the main things that I would suggest.
Yeah, I totally
Um,
agree. I started my personal development journey in 2017, and it was at the Landmark Forum, which is a 3-day seminar.
mm,
But yeah, there was about 100 people in the room, and it's all about sharing, right? So it's all about pair sharing with the person next to you, or going in front of the stage, getting the microphone, and sharing, your troubles, what's happening. And I felt so connected to humans because, again, I shift from that thought, I'm all alone. I'm the only one struggling with this. I feel so unseen and weird and broken and whatnot. Everyone will have different flavors, right? But is that isolation and thinking I'm the only one struggling and I'm the only one going through this. As soon as was in the room with hundreds of people and they're all sharing, similar thoughts, similar feelings, I was like, oh, I get it now. Everyone is walking around, pretending to be fine and struggling with stuff that we don't talk about. So
mm.
when you say community, I so agree. And especially for women, right? Like I think men as well. But for us, like we love being around each other and chatting and hugging and being playful and yeah, being self-expressed and talking about all the things.
Yeah, definitely. And with that, that's really one of the main reasons that I started to develop, events and circles and group containers, like all of those things, because I knew that the value of bringing people together and fostering their own genius and their own magic just amplifies this space. Like we create our own vortex, and that's so attractive to what we really want for our business as well. So it's been, I don't know how much you know about my journey, but I ran circles throughout COVID and I brought people together because being able to be in connection with others is so deeply healing. And also, it helps people to know exactly what you were talking about, that they're not alone, that there's others there that are interested in what they're interested in. And also that what can you do with the connections that are formed in that space? Mm.
Yeah, and that feeling like feeling a bit more normal, that feeling of belonging, like everyone's craving belonging. And when you're in a circle, that you feel like you can actually relax your nervous system, connect with other humans, listen to their stories, share your stories. Yeah, it's so healing. I do want to go back to your bio because, there are so many things to explore.
Yep.
So let's start with tell me about the Mystic Mom Maori, kind of like embodiment. Um,
Oh, okay. Yep.
what part of your journey are you most proud of, would you say?
Uh, hmm, that is a great question.
And it could be all of it, it could be, yeah, a specific thing.
The part of my journey that I'm most proud of is being a mother. Yeah, being a mother is opened up. It was like an initiation, I feel, into more expansion for my soul. It supported me to think about someone other than myself. But also, when my eldest daughter arrived, I had a deep knowing that I would be a mother. Like I had a long journey with a lot of complications with my cycle.
Mm.
And when I was in New Zealand, I was working in a corporate space and I was getting very, very sick when I was there. And I sought out help and I had some treatment for balancing out my hormones and things like that. And it made me even more sick. So imagine going into your office, working, and then going into the bathroom and vomiting like almost every day. So when I was made redundant, oh, best thing that ever happened to me, I decided to move with my ex-husband over to Australia, and I just released and surrendered all of the clinical expertise around what was going to happen with my body and with creation. So when I came to Australia, I was really like, I'm here to just see what happens. Like, just be interested, and perhaps that isn't what's going to happen for my life, and maybe it is, and I'll just go with the flow. And I definitely sense the soul of my eldest daughter like coming to me and saying like I'm ready to come, like I'm coming soon. And she already had her name. Her name was Rangiria, and that's my mother's name, and it's a family name. And when she finally arrived, it was such a surprise because I had completely shut off from like having that happen anytime soon. Like my time frame and the universe time frame so very different. And what had happened is I had packed up all of my belongings and I was ready to go to New Zealand, drop them off, and then get on a flight and go overseas on an overseas experience, the big OE, the big adventure. And the universe was just like, hey, you're ready for another adventure. And so when my daughter arrived, she was born in New Zealand, and I chose her first name. It was a given, that was Rangiria, and then I looked through the 10,000 baby name book, and I chose the name Queenie. And what I didn't realize that when she was born, she was actually named after both of her grandmothers.
Wow.
So, or her great grandmothers, I should say. So Rangiria on my side, and then Queenie was the grandmother's mother. That was her name. So she had both of our family names in when she came into the world. So that opened up um, huge opportunities for me to really understand what it really meant to live as a guide,
Mm.
as a mentor, and how can I support her experience in this world, particularly as uh, a woman that would be Māori, that would be proud and strong, and would be able to lead from her heart.
I'm just taking all that in. That sounds magical.
Hmm.
Mm. And what would you say is a lesson that you've learned through motherhood that also shows up in your leadership or, as your work as a coach?
Oh, I think the lesson, well, I've learned a lot of lessons.
It's an
Just one.
ongoing university.
The university, yes, of motherhood. The biggest lesson I learned um, was quite dramatic, actually. I learned that I had a lot of unresolved trauma, in my body, and that it was for me to really learn about how to release that and how to understand myself more so that I could be a great mum.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. Yeah, so you don't bring all of that to your child because we know that, we've learned so much from our parents and we just absorbed everything when we were a child, just being around them or our carers. And yeah, we know how that develops later.
Yeah, I think that it was, I think with that, the other lesson that was really vital was that I had to come to an acceptance that my mother and father, they were moving from a different operating system than I was even aware of. You know, like my father's parents, you know, they lived through the wartime, you know, and that generational trauma, like following, you know, being passed down. Um, is really interesting, particularly now that I've been more involved with constellations and learning about, you know, how to shift that the imprints
Mhm.
from the past as a healer now.
Yes, that's so powerful.
Mm.
I'm probably not having kids in this lifetime. I feel like I'm 42 already. I'm single. Yeah, I probably don't see it happening, but I still feel like all the healing I'm doing is so potent because even for myself, my family, when we come back,
Well,
it's
that's really interesting because mother is just an archetype.
yeah. And I mean,
We,
I've been a stepmom before. I'm more than happy to date someone that has kids. I have so much love to give. And yeah, I share the love with my friends, with my family. It's just different. But I really love when you share about being a mom. And I think that's what the thing is about, having your own baby, I believe, is that learning to love someone else, when you're not the first person. And that I think that's really unconditional love when your baby comes to life. That's what I believe it is. And yeah, it sounds magical.
mm, yeah,
And
I enjoyed it.
yeah, I love everything they share about that. And I also know it's not the same for every person, right? Some moms are like, I actually don't enjoy being a mom or didn't want to be a mom or yeah, there are all the flavors to it. Not putting this motherhood on a pedestal that everyone's going to be, in love with their kids.
I think that was a big one too, that I was like, oh yeah, I've got to be like the perfect mother and do all of these things. And in hindsight, I think it would have been really beneficial for me to continue in some kind of capacity in a workplace or, you know, having some kind of thought, you know, stimulation
Hmm.
so that, you know, I wouldn't be like drowning. Because I did go through severe postnatal depression as well,
That's
with
another
my, you know,
thing,
second
yeah,
child.
that I've learned not long ago that a lot of women go through that experience. And I think, again, it's just not spoken enough and is not, yeah. So I had no idea. And then just hearing from some of my friends, knowing how much they struggle at the beginning and, yeah, having,
Mm.
having a supportive partner, having people that can actually open up and talk about this. Because I think there must be some shame and guilt as well, not really fully understanding what you're going through. So
Oh,
even
yeah.
asking for help must feel challenging.
Oh, definitely. Like, yeah, lost my mind.
Exactly. Yeah.
Lost my mind and like came back into that's how I really came back into following my intuition because I went from being able to read like a novel in a night to not being able to fill in a one-page form.
Wow.
So there was a big break, like big
It's such
break.
a big change. Yeah.
And
Um,
that actually was a really powerful movement for me to really start to value the intuitive intelligence that I was receiving, that I've always received.
Beautiful.
Mm.
Yeah. Beautiful. That was great. Yeah. Great time to strengthen your relationship to self. Um,
Mm.
And yeah, going back to your bio again, just a little bit from your background, like there were so many things that you faced, like childhood trauma, the misdiagnosis, the domestic violence. So yeah, it sounds like you lived so many lifetimes, challenging times. Do you feel there was like a pivotal moment when you realized that your story could actually be the medicine for other people?
Oh, that is such a beautiful question. I love that. Thank you. Yes, actually, there was a pivotal moment, and it didn't come about until I was surrounded by other women that were sharing about their experiences and doing so in a very artful way. So they were speaking about their experiences not to bring people into it, but to share about it and to say, this is what happened afterwards. And that was a really pivotal like shift for me because I was like, oh, I'm quite trauma informed, so I know like bringing up these kind of events, especially adverse events, can be super triggering. They can be very activating, and it can be very challenging for women to sit in spaces where it's purely let's just like dig in and like get all the dirt out and like show it, and and that's powerful as well when you do that. But when you're doing it in a public setting, it's really helpful to be able to be like, okay, so here is what there was some challenges here, and there was also some wisdom to gain here. And then now that I've moved over here, I'm reflecting back and I'm realizing that that is the gold that I move with now as I walk in the world. And one of the key people that I really was just like so in awe of, and the way that she was so vulnerable and authentic in her expression, particularly with speaking, and that was Sam Higgins. She created a visionary speakers club. And when she opened the doors and said, "Hey, I'm going to help speakers," I had a vision. I had a vision of me speaking on a stage with many, many people. And when I was speaking, it was like I was a completely different person. I was dynamic. I was, everyone was like, all the eyeballs were on me. I was in this like pink suit. And I was moving around like I owned the stage. And when I looked out into the audience, I could see women were crying because they were so moved by what I was saying. And I was like, I don't know who that woman is, but I believe it is me. And I need to take some kind of action to support that vision. And so when she opened the doors, I was just like, that's for me. I'm going to do that. Because I
Yes.
really enjoyed the way that she held the presence of everything. Hmm.
So beautiful. Yeah, and I asked that question because it took something for me to realize that my stories are medicine, and I think a lot of the time people go around thinking, oh, there's nothing special about me, there's nothing special about my life. I used to think that all the time. But then I would share my story and people would be like, oh my God. And like you said, like it can be so moving and so healing and so connecting. And I was like, oh my God, like I have so many stories to tell, and just owning that and cultivating that, again, that confidence to keep sharing. That joy around sharing, that curiosity. So I think everyone has powerful medicine within them, but it's to, first to acknowledge, oh yeah, I do have it. And then like, how can I do more of that? Exactly what I said. And that's why I started this podcast. That's why I love posting on my social media, and creating content. Because again, it's just sharing pieces of me that I know it will touch someone.
Oh, yeah, I really resonate with that because when we're posting and we're like, we become content creators. And when we have particularly coaching businesses,
Mm.
and sometimes we can get lost in the, oh, I've got to post today because it's like, important to keep that connection. And then you're like, well, stop and wait, because every time that you post something, you're sharing a piece of medicine, piece of wisdom. Like you're helping people just by posting.
Yeah.
And when you come back into an awareness that the things that you share is going to impact somebody, regardless of whether they hit the like button, regardless of whether they comment, like usually the people that are reading it and the lurkers that are not saying anything are the ones that are really interested in what you do and are waiting for the opportunity for you to invite them to work with you.
Yes. Yeah, I love when I get those messages out of the blue somewhere that I didn't expect, and they say, "Oh my God, I really needed this today. Thank you so
Hmm.
much." And what I think is all the people that are not messaging me, but having that feeling. And then, yeah, it makes me feel like, okay, this is all worth it. Putting ourselves at the front line or creating content or all the things that we do behind the scenes that no one sees. It's all worth it. Yeah, because if someone sees my content and have a shift, because we also know how good, like, I love listening to other people podcasts. It's so healing. It really helps me, helps my motivation, helps my like learning skills. So again, it's looking at how much I learn and heal from other people's content, and then being like, yeah, if I'm putting out content, I'm sure people are resonating and Yeah,
Yeah,
any point.
definitely. Definitely. Yeah, your message is powerful and people need
Yeah, I have fun doing it.
it.
Let's see what else. Oh, I love that you are bringing all this like spirituality and different tools to what you do. So I was curious about, like using things like the crystal sound bowls and meditation. How do you feel these practices amplify success for you and your clients?
Oh, I love this. So, meditation brings you back into presence with your power. So, every time that you're coming back into relaxation and deep relaxation, you're starting to surrender into the innate wisdom that you have, that your body has to heal, that um, your soul can truly speak to you and you have the opportunity to listen. So, being able to meditate is freaking amazing, life-changing, I would say.
I agree.
Uh,
I agree.
for the sound bowls, that's also a form of meditation. So, what happens when, particularly for group settings, I'll talk about group settings because I moved away from one-to-ones. Uh, when there is the frequencies floating around your body, floating into the space, permeating your energy field, what happens is you start to shift into these different, deeper levels of meditation that support you to expand your perception and allows you to float around with the higher level of intelligence, particularly if you're intentional about moving with the vibrations and the sound for business magnetism, business attraction, and business growth.
Yeah,
So
just
intention is vital.
yeah, different tools that will bring different maybe results because like I said, meditation, you tune into your intuition, to that guidance, to your connection with your body and yourself, calm your nervous system. And then the sound bowls is like tapping into frequency and yeah, higher energies. So it could be amplified. It could be, yeah, it could be so potent.
Mm. And
Yeah.
my favorite, and it's funny that you said that you sense your intuition from your solar plexus, because that is my favorite bowl to play. Sometimes when I'm feeling a little bit like, yeah, what's happening in my business, I'll just bring out the bowl and have a little session, just tapping and rolling around with that frequency because it's so deeply invigorating for understanding your own sense of motivation, intrinsic motivation, personal action, motivation for your business as well, and for building up your own spiritual self-esteem.
Yes, love it. And what is your favorite energetic reset tool when life feels a bit chaotic?
Hmm. My favorite energetic reset tool, I think just big cleansers.
Tell
Big
us.
cleansers. And when I actually had this other day when I was feeling like everything was just so chaotic. Like I've got a lot of pieces moving in creation for next year. Um, and what I found was I just felt really bogged down by everything moving in my brain and yeah, getting a bit like, there's so much happening. And then I realized that it's because I'd been hanging on to all of this stuff that I didn't need anymore. And it's not going to serve me for the next level of growth that I'm here for. So decluttering my mind, decluttering my physical space. Like I'm not going to unblur it, but like there's heaps of um, boxes and rubbish bags and everything to just clear out because when you're moving into another identity and you're starting to embody that, you have to say goodbye to a
Mm,
lot of things, including people.
love it. Love. Yeah, I'm so a bit of a freak with keeping things so tidy and clean and organized in my environment because I know, yeah, I operate so much better. I was thinking for myself, yeah, an energetic reset tool. I think for me, breath. So, just taking a couple of deep breaths into my body if I'm driving or yeah, something's happening, like challenging conversation. For me, it normally is breath because it's so easy, you don't have to go anywhere or do anything specifically. I was also thinking shower when you say cleanse. I love having a nice shower and just imagining the water taking everything and like that kind of physical, energetical cleanse in the shower. And I was thinking also masturbation
Mm.
helps, stop everything. And I'm like, I have the time for myself.
Mm.
Need it.
Well, it's interesting because when you reach the climax, there's no opportunity for you to think about anything else.
Exactly. That's why it's so good because you're so in your body and is that moment of like, whoa, there's nothing else.
It's the best place to manifest as well.
Yes. Is it magic, sex magic?
No, I haven't. No. Hmm.
Um, Amazing. I feel like we could keep chatting forever, although we are coming to an end. I have a couple of questions. I would love to know what is lighting your soul the most right now.
What's lighting my soul up right now is creating the masterclasses for my group business mastermind for 2025. So the iconic business mastermind is for uh, my post this morning was all about like difficult women that see solutions and that know how to change things to make them flow, to make them better, to make them more efficient, to help more people, like all of those things. And what happens is it can be very lonely when you are the leader and you are creating the path for others to walk on.
Mm,
And so I created a beautiful framework, a beautiful system for leaders in business, particularly women in business that are in health and wellness industry, to come into so that they can amplify their authority. They can learn more about how to be in touch with their soul wisdom and that they can actually conjure and attract their success very quickly. So, becoming super magnetic by bringing people to you and taking out the hard work.
mm,
So, the magic of that container is actually not me. It's the specific energies that I'm attracting to that container. So
mm,
they are powerful, they have genius. They are probably rebels, misfits. They understand that they're just here to bring something to the world that will make a change. So that's
sounds
something that,
magical.
yeah, yeah,
And
it's
and
really lighting my soul up.
yeah, it's lighting my soul up right now.
Yeah.
And that was my last question. Like, how can people connect with you and learn more about your programs, or how to connect with you further and maybe work with you?
Yeah, so get in touch with me through my link tree, Soulful Health with Erena. If
Say
you
that
want
a
to
little
work
bit
with me,
slower.
oh, yeah,
So do you mean through your Instagram and then
yeah,
your
yeah, come on Insta. I'm
LinkedIn?
on Insta, I'm on Facey.
Can they find you? Slowly?
Soulful Health with Erina.
Perfect. And I'll make sure to tag on the podcast description.
Yeah, perfect. Yep, that's great. I have the group container for um, easy access to my energy. Chats 15 minutes for just learning more, a little bit more about me for the 3 month package, and 30 minutes is for 6 months working with me, having an adventure.
Amazing. What an amazing relationship to be with you for 6 months.
Oh, the people that are with me with for 6 months have life-changing experiences.
Of course. Of course. Babe, I feel like we could talk forever. Like you have so much to share, your background and current life is so um rich.
Yes.
Yes, so I definitely recommend all the audience to reach out to you to find you on Instagram, to book a chat with you to find more about what you're offering. Uh, and I think that's it for today. Would you like to share anything else?
No, I really appreciate speaking with you. I resonate with you a lot, and I really appreciate the invite to share more of my journey and the medicine to your beautiful audience.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your time and energy. Love chatting to you and see you next time. Bye.